So, we finally get some insight into what happened in the highly controversial sparring session between Gervonta Tank Davis and Devin Haney at the Mayweather boxing gym. It's been widely publicized that Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney have had two sparring sessions. The first one at the Upton Boxing Center in Baltimore, where it ended with Devin Haney's father, Bill Haney, having to pull Devin from out of the ring. And the second one ended with Devin Haney getting the best of Gervonta Davis in front of Floyd Mayweather in his gym. And even with Devin Haney getting the best of Gervonta Davis in that sparring session led directly to Floyd Mayweather signing Gervonta Tank Davis. But it's been highly controversial what actually happened in that sparring, because on one side you have Devin Haney, Bill Haney, and Floyd Mayweather Sr. saying that the sparring wasn't even competitive. And then on the other end, you have people like Badu Jack, Gervonta Davis, Floyd Mayweather himself, Adrian Broner, and Nate Jones saying it was highly competitive up until the point that Tank got tired and Devin took over in the later rounds. And lately this topic has been trending again because Nate Jones, former Olympic bronze medalist and Olympic teammate of Floyd Mayweather, who would go on to be Floyd Mayweather's body bag man in his camps through the pros. Nate Jones recently came out with a video saying that he won money on that sparring, but he would pick Tank to win in a real fight. But he didn't really give any details into what happened in the sparring other than that he picked Devin Haney and that he won money betting on Devin Haney. But an old interview just dropped on his channel, the Nate Jones story, of him talking about the sparring a few years ago. And in that old interview, he said the same thing about betting on Devin and winning money and picking Tank to win it in a real fight. But he gave a little more detail about what happened in the sparring.
No, we spoke about sparring sessions, and I keep hearing about this sparring session between Tank and Devin Haney. Were you at the gym when this went on?
Yes. Was
it as explosive as they said?
It was beautiful work. I ended up making $1,000 that night because I bet a few people that I watched both of them young kids come up. And even though I like Tank, I know he can be a head case. Mm-hmm. And I've even helped train Devin. I've worked with Devin. Me and Floyd watched him come up. I've padded Devin before. I know Devin. I know Devin is very fundamental. And I watched him as he matured. He got so fundamentally sound. And I bet everybody in the gym that Devin would outbox him. And Devin did that day. It was a good work.
Wow.
And I got paid from everybody. Evidently, everybody paid me. I made my money, so they did agree with what I said because it did work. But it was very good work in Devin outboxing. Devin was very smart. But I don't know now. Tank have shown me some things lately that I don't know if it'll be the same now. They fought with 8-ounce gloves on and Reyes. Tank showed me a lot lately. I think Tank has matured a little more than Devin Haney. So I think the fight, it'll be different now, especially in the fight.
What ounces were they sparring with? How big were they?
I don't know. I didn't look at the gloves. 14, 16s.
14, 16?
Or 16, something like that.
Gloves,
yeah. Okay. It was good work, but, Devin was very technical. Very good boxing, very good foot movement, very good jabbing out boxing. If it was a fight, Devin would have beat him that night.
How many rounds?
I think it was maybe 6 or 7.
6 or 7 rounds? And you say he gave you a boxing lesson?
No, it was very good work, but I don't think he gave Tank a boxing lesson. He outboxed him.
He outboxed him.
If that was a fight, he would have won.
Okay, you said, so let's say it was 7 rounds. How'd you score it? How many rounds to how many rounds?
5-2.
Wow, that's dominant. That's very dominant. And what was he doing that gave him the edge?
Was keeping the range, keeping the distance, and using the jab. And Tank was stuck on trying to hurt him. He was stuck on being smart, using his boxing.
Now this is what a lot of people, including myself, thought happened in that sparring session, and Nate Jones just confirmed it. And he also confirmed what Gervonta Davis said in his interview $1 Million Worth of Game when he spoke on the sparring. Tank said the sparring was more so back and forth. And then when he got tired, Devin took over. And Nate Jones said it was 6 or 7 rounds, and he scored it 5-2 or 4-2. So you could see that earlier in the rounds, they were probably trading rounds. And then the last few rounds, Devin Haney, once Tank got tired, picked up and took control of the sparring and ultimately won the money. And he did it by doing what he would have to do in the fight to beat Gervonta Davis, which is staying long, using his feet, using his jab, and outboxing him. Now, a lot of people have been confused on why Nate Jones has been saying that he won money betting on Devin, but he would pick Tank in the real fight. And what he just said in that clip gave us the insight into exactly why he thinks that way. If you're a boxing fan, then you know his only way to beat Gervonta Davis is to outbox him, and more than outbox him, and completely shut Gervonta Davis out. Devin Haney, for 12 rounds, can't let Gervonta Davis have any moments in that fight, because we all know that Tank can end the fight in any round with either hand. So if you're a Devin Haney fan, it should concern you that Nate Jones said it was beautiful work, that Devin ended up winning ultimately and outboxing Tank, but it was beautiful work from each side. And if you're a Devin Haney fan, you could say, well, Devin outboxed him and he was only 16. He's older now. He's better now. Of course, they're both better fighters now. But the difference is they won't have headgear and they won't have 16-ounce gloves on. They'll have 8-ounce gloves on. And Devin, y'all can get emotional about this if y'all want. But Devin, at this point, has a questionable chin. We've seen Devin rocked by way lesser punchers than Gervonta Tank Davis. A way lesser puncher, and Jorge Linares rocked Devin Haney. And not only is Jorge Linares a way lesser puncher, he's a way lesser boxer than Gervonta Davis. So that opening that Jorge Linares created to get that shot off, Gervonta Davis will create multiple openings to get his shots off. So to me, this just sounds like a recipe for disaster for Devin Haney. You know, a lot of people assume that he'll be able to do what he did in that sparring by staying long and keeping Tank on the outside with his jab and his feet. But if Tank was having moments and it was beautiful work between Devin and Tank with headgear and 16-ounce gloves, that's just a recipe for disaster in a real fight. 12-round fight with 8-ounce gloves on and no headgear with Devin Haney and his questionable chin. Like I said, y'all can be emotional about that if y'all want, but it's a fact. His questionable chin, and at the same time of having that questionable chin, he's draining himself to make weight at 135. So all of that just mixes together for a recipe of disaster. And I believe that Gervonta Davis, before I said about 10 rounds he would stop Devin Haney, but now with Nate Jones saying this, that they were going back and forth early before Devin took over and started outboxing Tank, I would say Tank in about 7 rounds. 7 or 8 rounds, he would stop Devin Haney if they fought next. But of course, we know Devin Haney got to get through Lomachenko, which he will. That's easy. That's an easy fight. It's not a 50-50 fight. Lomachenko, that's like a 90-10 fight. Gervonta Davis has to get through Ryan Garcia. That's about a 60-40 fight, in my opinion. I know a lot of people sleep on Ryan, but he can punch, and he is fast, and he is way bigger than Tank. So he could catch Tank coming in and knocking him out. This a fact. Tank my favorite fighter, but that's a fact. Ryan is very dangerous. So, of course, they got to get through these 2 fights, and we know that Tank has his day in court on May the 5th, and is probably going to have to sit down for some time. So it would make sense for Devin Haney to fight Shakur Stevenson in the meantime while Tank is handling his situation in court, and then the winner fighting Tank once he comes home, has a tune-up and all that. But it probably won't go that way. Devin Haney is not going to fight Shakur Stevenson, as we all can see. Devin Haney hasn't even responded to Shakur calling him out. He went silent. I ain't never seen Devin Haney act like this. This shit is crazy. All those videos of me pointing it out, how the energy was never the same for Shakur, and that Team Haney ain't want no smoke with Shakur, and y'all thought I was just hating on Devin Haney. Well, now look. It looked like I was right. But that's what I got for y'all. I'm out.